Namaste, angels. This is the weekly love reading for the period of tomorrow, Sunday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo to anybody that's celebrating that. And it goes through May 11th, the day before Mother's Day. So I'll wish you happy Mother's Day next week, in next week's reading. I'm going to begin with the Universal Love Oracle and this card featuring Kuan Yin about forgiveness. First, I'm going to read an opening message. Haven't done that in a while, but I was moved to today. From my Journey of Love Oracle. Forgot the name of the cards for a second. Beginning with the Lovers. This card it's similar. I mean, it's, to a traditional Lovers card. It's about, two lovers or self-love. It can be, the love of oneself, which really fits into the current energies. The Four of Spring, or Four of Wands, the Animal Tarot. Judgment from my Fortune Teller cards, which contrary to Judgment in the Tarot, well, I guess it's similar to Judgment in the Tarot. That one is about, Judgment in the Tarot is about, coming to a crossroad as it relates to relationships and deciding, where do we go from here? If anywhere. Because sometimes we're done, right? End of the road, as Boyz II Men said. And this card is similar, but it's more about the fact that we've already made the judgment call and we're just holding on still for, we know that it's over and we're still clinging to it. Possibly because that's what somebody else would have us do, or that's what society would have us do, or that's what we feel is morally right or ethically right or whatever, but not because of what we want to do in our heart. So this is a card of soul searching and going within to decide, to be honest with yourself about what you're feeling and to make a genuine choice. My hand has been itching for 2 days. It must be all the abundance that's on its way. Amen. And lastly, with, for just advice at the end, Archangel Raphael with the Angel Therapy cards. And he is the Archangel that helps us to heal all areas, but he's assigned to the heart too, the heart chakra. So nice to have him around for the love reading. All right, so opening message. Again, we're beginning with the Lovers. Well, I didn't do the dice. Let's see what the dice have to say about our love lives too. So we're starting with spend money, no, and massage. Spirit says 29. It's 50-50, which came up in the general reading too. And romantic dinner. This could be going on a date and going Dutch, right? 50-50, you pay half, I'll pay half. Of course, it can be emotionally too, right? We have to meet somewhere in the middle, 50-50, we both have to, it's give and take. And then coupled with 29, which is about spiritual partnership, the three of those, could really be about trying to merge, trying to come together in some sort of, compromise. And we sort of design, co-create the dynamic that we're going to work within. It's very nice. All right, so I'm starting with Lovers and opening to a card for, it's card number 46. It's called Just for a Moment, Joy. And there's a very happy woman with just light expelling from her. Lovers. All right. Heaven, card number 70. Dream a Little, card number 51. Lovers. The Blood Dance, card number 42. Let's do one more. Get them all shuffled up. Aww. Card number 25, Seed of the Heart. That sounds interesting. I don't think I've ever read that card before. Should I just make that our card? Well, this one fell away from the deck. Maybe this should be our card. Hopefully we'll get to read Seed of the Heart soon. Sounds interesting. But our card is called The Cloak, and it's card number 50. The cloak sounds like a false mask or something, but we shall find out now what it is. Card number 50, The Cloak. Around you there is a cloak of your own creation. Perhaps it has served you for some time as an invisible form of protection. Yep, it's a mask. As a way to claim needed solitude. As a way to retreat inside and to find what you truly need and what you truly feel. To find yourself after being lost in an ocean of thought and emotion. Not always your own. Yet the time is fast approaching when you will no longer require the cloak. You have attained an integration within, a knowledge of self that makes it possible for you to connect with the world, with others, in a way that does not leave you lost and struggling to find yourself. You've learned how to hold yourself. You've learned how to do this well enough that you can do it successfully. You can hold your own. You can hold another too. You don't have to push the world away. You can invite it in and play. The message that this oracle brings you is that you can safely release the forms of security that you once held. You do not have to abandon your boundaries with others, but rather your boundaries are so functional that you can now enter into relationships with much more openness, trusting that your boundary will naturally assert itself when necessary, giving you the connection to yourself that you need when you need it, without having to withdraw from relationships entirely. It's time to trust your own boundaries and to practice letting them help you whilst actively engaging in deeper relationships. You'll have fun. Loneliness is like a ship in full sail with no wind and no place to go. So we continue with the theme of self-love, it sounds. We love ourselves so much that we're finally ready to be ourselves. We don't have to cover up with a cloak or, some sort of false mask of protection. Now for the spread from the masculine perspective, again, I'm beginning with Kuan Yin and forgiveness and opening to answered prayer. Somebody asked me about butterflies today. It's so funny. An Aquarius asked me about butterflies today. This card also represents the sign of Aquarius for me. You see, she's got, in air signs in general, and air and water with all the blue and white. But you see she's got a star. The star in the tower represents the sign of Aquarius. And she's got it over her throat chakra. So, of course, the communication centers or chakras are associated with air signs, right? The crown chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra. So with it right there over the throat, it just really speaks of the sign of Aquarius to me. But one of my Aquarian clients contacted me and asked me what were my feelings about butterflies and, seeing them repeatedly and things. So we had a talk about metamorphosis and transformation, moving on to the next chapter, death and rebirth, being reinvented. Right? A new you, reinventing yourself. All of those things. Going in a caterpillar, coming out a butterfly, emerging as a butterfly, something brand new. Forgiveness. And that too can sort of work with the theme of this self-love and self-discovery, self-esteem, self-confidence. So keep that in mind. And opening to celebration, which sent me into a whole thing about Elijah last week. When I was meaning to talk about the Pentecost, Elijah and the Transfiguration. When I was meaning to talk about the Pentecost, the event when the Holy Spirit descended upon the people. That's why this card reminds me of that. It's this very Pentecostal dove reminiscent of the Holy Spirit, or what we imagine the Holy Spirit, looks like. That's why it's a celebration. That's why these people are so happy. So I think this is marking the period, at least to an extent. Right now, this week, Ramadan begins. The Hebrew calendar, we're still counting the Omer, still praying. The Christian calendar, we continue with the octaves of Easter up until the Pentecost. And so, that extends beyond the boundaries and borders of religious institutions to actual spirit beings. And we've all got this very heavenly energy hanging around us, hanging over us, in addition to all the other stuff that's going on. Oh, how nice to open these two at the same time. It is Eternal Flame and Sacred Union. On that note, I think I'll cut now. Fear. That fear, too, comes into play when talking about self-confidence and self-esteem and self-awareness and self-discipline and self-control, self-love. And facing that fear also is coming up. And I'm being reminded of the lyrics, too, to When Doves Cry, Prince's song, When Doves Cry. It really is about angelic beings. He says, especially since I just saw that answered prayer card too, with the butterflies, right? Over the butterfly over the stomach, the star over the throat. Touch, if you will, my stomach. See how it trembles inside. That's the fear. You've got the butterflies all tied up. Don't make me chase you. Even doves have pride. It means like even an angelic being, even somebody, divine, we have some ego too. So that's something to think about. Maybe as we go through this, maybe that'll come up again. But our overall energy is healing sounds. The feminine. The masculine as it relates to the feminine. And himself. And the union as a whole. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine, do, contribute, surrender toward the union this week as it relates to love, what he himself is willing to. And with love in mind, what the universe would have the two to do, surrender, contribute, and wants them to do and wants to help them with, but they first have to affirm to it and the outcome. Feminine, divine guidance. And with this moon, this is telling me, especially also with all the green in the picture, this is telling me that the Taurus new moon, which occurred today, this evening, 6:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it contains messages, I'm sure for everyone, but particularly for the feminine, there is something that we are going to receive from this moon. Some sort of guidance. You'll come into some sort of clarity. You'll get some direction and understanding. You'll know what next steps to take. You're going to be tuned into your intuition. It will be strong. It will be maybe, more intense and more strong than it normally is. And you, benefiting from this energy of the moon, which is feminine energy of surrender, will surrender and will listen and will receive the information that comes to you. Divine guidance. The masculine as relates to this and the feminine. Blessings. He is blessed by the messages that we receive almost as much as we are because they involve him. And he needs us to maybe be, for our hearts maybe to be a little bit softened, a little bit warmed up before he approaches. That too is a blessing to him. I think this is in connection to the forgiveness with which we started. But let's see, the masculine as it relates to himself. So what he's feeling himself, expectancy. This is acknowledgement of the need to let go of ego. Let go of our preconceived notions and our determination of what the outcome should be and how it should be and when it should be and with whom it should be, and instead surrendering. So the masculine too, taking advantage of that feminine energy of surrender that the moon provides, and letting go and letting the journey just happen, letting things flow, letting it occur, and letting himself flow with it, as opposed to like against the current. The union as a whole, transient. So the whole thing, head to toe, as far as the union, going through, just like a whole makeover, overhaul, complete head to toe healing of this union and the two beings involved. Overall, sorrow. I knew I felt they had to do with this, with the forgiveness. It's sitting here over the blessings card. It is connected to the forgiveness, and that's what the sorrow is about too. It's these emotions that we need to release. It is regret. It is resentment. Those are considered negative emotions, guilt, and things. But no judgment, because again, even doves have pride. So it's something we all have to deal with. But this forgiveness that's required for the sorrow, in order to release the sorrow, it's forgiveness of ourselves as well as other people involved, again, will come through the divine guidance. What the masculine would have the feminine do towards the union this week is message from afar, and it's sitting here underneath the divine guidance. I told you he really wants her to be open to this information. And it's funny because all this card often reminds me of the planet Mars, the red planet, right? And that's certainly afar. Well, Mars is currently located in Gemini, the great communicator. So there's that message that's going to be coming in, that divine guidance that we're going to be receiving. And, it'll help us to change our thinking. But also, this can be, taken on surface value too, and in a more literal way. And there can be just contact, maybe from somebody with whom you have some emotional, if not physical, distance because something has occurred, and and then the conversation needs to be had. It may involve a fire sign. What the masculine himself is willing to do. And this is a card about self-love. Yes, it's called Embrace, and it has these two people, a male and a female, that appear to be in a very, tight embrace, hug, loving hug. But really, this is one person's inner masculine and feminine coming together, in a harmonious way after some healing. You may notice that these two cards have like the same colors. This is as a result of, or this is possible through this overhaul of healing. What the universe would have the two do and wants them to do, but they'll have to affirm it. Boom! Sacred union. It's like you have to be willing to commit to this. You have to be willing to let go of that pride that's coming up, and any of the other negative emotions, fear, again, resentment, regret, guilt, the inability to forgive. All those things you have to commit to releasing that. The universe will help you once you commit to it and help you to get here. And outcome. Aww. Boom. How sweet is that? How sweet is that? I could feel it. I couldn't feel that it was sitting here, but I could definitely feel the energy of, the forgiveness. And it's like Mary, Mary, Mary. Even though this one is Kuan Yin, it's still like a vibration of Mary. Kuan Yin, also a virgin that emerged from a lotus flower. That's another story that I'll tell another time. Oh, you know what? Lotus flower. Flower came up in my general reading today too, because on the 6th, May 6th, the Hebrew month of Iyar begins. And Iyar means rosette, as in like a flower. So keep that in mind too. I don't know what that might mean, but it keeps coming up and coming into my head, so I think it means something. For the spread from the perspective of the universe, letting us know what's going on, I'm beginning again with Judgment, my fortune teller cards, and opening to Angel. Your angels are guiding you and protecting you on your spiritual journey. Now, that's special too. Judgment. Coffin. Natural endings abound. Take care with your health. It's opposite Judgment, especially like when in the opening I talked about what Judgment in this deck meant, and then it was like we're holding on to something that we need to let go of, similar to death in the traditional tarot. So how interesting is it that Coffin shows up opposite Judgment, and it's like just go ahead and let it die. Judgment. And Mountain. Know that you're protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. Judgment. So that's another direction to let go of fear. Right? It's like just telling you you are protected. That doesn't mean you just go out all willy-nilly, but you don't have to be as guarded as you are. And you certainly don't have to be cloaked, in a mask or anything. And it's another Lover's card. There are 2 paths ahead. Be true to yourself. So similar to that other card where I said, it's about doing what you want as opposed to what society may deem as appropriate for you or what's moral and what's right. That's what that Lover's card is about also. It's like there's 2 paths. Which one does your heart, with which does your heart resonate? And coming to proposal. A romantic or business opportunity is indicated. But this is the love reading, so we're talking about romantic. Overall energy is the Devil. Take care immediately to avoid temptation and deceit. And this card is about like a manipulative person possibly trying to take control of your life, which gets into what we were just talking about a moment ago, and following your heart as opposed to, other people's or societies or one person in particular, somebody in your family, whoever it is, your friends, following your inner guidance and divine guidance and, what you feel in your heart to do instead of any of those things. Somebody could, step in and try to manipulate, take control. And this doesn't have to be a romantic interest. It could be somebody, again, who's trying to dictate what relationships you have or don't have. So it could be a friend, a family member, anybody. We should be mindful, not paranoid, but mindful or careful of with whom we become involved. Also, like particularly if we're single and we meet somebody, try to. You're not going to know everything about everyone, especially on the onset. But if you get any kind of feelings, gut feelings and stuff, try to pay attention to those things. Just like in the tarot, the Devil can represent toxicity, codependency, abuse, addiction. There could be somebody who, is a little obsessive, or maybe even addicted, or becomes that way about you or someone close to you. This can involve, sexual deviation too, and obsession and addiction. Somebody just feeling really like a stalker. Also, like I've mentioned the past couple weeks, those people that like smile on our faces. Um, I had heard one of the songs last week while I was doing the reading. It wasn't Backstabbers, but that one keeps coming to mind too. Smiling in your face all the time, they want to take your place. The Backstabbers. The other one was called Smiling Faces. Smiling Faces. They don't tell the truth. They lie. So yeah, keep in mind all that stuff. Divine being or couple. Recent past. Near future. Masculine's higher self. Blocks to individual or couple progress or union. What the feminine can do to help herself, however, what the masculine can. What the universe wants for the two, but they have to affirm to them. Wants to help them with, they have to affirm. And the outcome. Divine being or couple, coffin. Natural endings abound. Take care with your health. So again, this is guiding us to let things go, allow things to die a natural death, and for chapters to close, and we just keep it moving. Recent past, you may have taken some sort of risk or opened yourself up to risk. Maybe began to pull off that mask and expose yourself a little bit, be a little bit vulnerable. Have the courage to embrace change and to take risks and be adventurous. The Fool. Near future. Lovers. There are two paths ahead. Be true to yourself. So some of us may actually be met with a choice of which direction we're going to go. Masculine's higher self. Plane. A journey is indicated, either physically or metaphorically. Your life will become more full. So I just talked about there was distance in the last spread between people, emotionally, if not physically. And that's what this can be about. Actual travel and movement in a literal sense, or a connection or a deepening of connection in an emotional sense or metaphorical sense. Blocks. Inability to let go. Boom. Fire. Let go of emotional upheaval and embrace the renewal of the present. Holding on to the past and or what they're calling emotional upheaval is blocking you from progress. What the feminine can do to help herself here, Mountain. Know that you're protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. So not paranoid, just open. And what the masculine can do, proposal. There's a romantic opportunity coming up and he can take it. That's what he can do to help himself. For some, this can really come down to actual proposals. May is a very popular month for engagements and or marriages, weddings. And it sits here next to the Lovers. So that can be like the choice. There's two paths. You're going to go it alone or you want to, go coupled with somebody. What the universe would have the two do and wants to help them with. It is luck. You're right to be strong and optimistic about the opportunities ahead. The universe wants to provide us with support so that we don't miss our blessings, don't block them. And the outcome. Patience. Slow down, change your attitude, and clear your mind. That's what's going to help you to release stuff like this and then be able to grasp stuff like this. With this spread, I'm going to just go around twice. Each pile is going to have two cards, beginning with the Four of Spring. It's time to kick back, relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. And opening two, it's like another decision that has to be made. It's time to stop procrastinating and to make a decision so that you can move forward with a priority. If you need more time, then, to do research, then do so. But don't overthink the situation. Listen to your heart. All right, so as we've been saying since this reading started, this card, although not a court card for whatever reason, has always reminded me of the planet Neptune and the sign of Pisces, which it rules. I think it's all the, like the fantasy, the confusion, the illusion, what should I do, the procrastination, the dreamy head stuck in the clouds. Four of spring. And the 6 of autumn, your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, and to receive a grant or scholarship. In return for heaven's blessings, be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time or money to reputable charities. On a more romantic note, that card, the 6 of autumn or pentacles, for me is all about unconditional love. It's about exchange, right? Love being able to pass both ways freely and, without one person trying to manipulate the other, or make out like a bandit somehow. It is about, is completely free and devoid of agenda. Wow, very nice. Opening from the 4 of spring or wands to the 6. So this card is all about joy, happiness, whatever makes us feel good, commitment, marriage. And this one is about victory. You may receive a promotion, be chosen for a scholarship, or find that you're singled out for special recognition. You've done an amazing job and you deserve all the attention that you are getting. So you may be in the spotlight somehow. Again, this could be a wedding or something, right? All eyes on you. It's all about you and your relationship, your union, your love. It could just be a matter of being chosen too, as a path, or to share somebody's path, journey with them. But here's fear again. It's not real fear. This is, manufactured, your own mind. Your worries and fears aren't real. They're fueled by focusing on the negative, which gives power to that of which you're afraid. Stop worrying. Let go of fear, and everything will be okay. Overall energy is the Queen of Winter. Experienced, self-sufficient, brilliant, and funny. All your life experiences have prepared you for this moment of truth. It's time to declutter your home, clear away situations that aren't working for you, and to disengage from people who create more drama than happiness. I don't know why I'm being moved to go sort of like around twice, but I am, so that's what we're going to do. Crowning the masculine. The King of Winter and the Queen of Autumn. Intelligent, impartial, respected, and unemotional. At this time, it's very important that you communicate clearly, be objective and unemotional, and act as professionally as possible. If you need advice, seek out the most experienced expert that you can find. And the Queen of Autumn. Thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. You'll be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person. First and foremost, what came out to me is this is an illustration, I guess, of how the masculine is going to be impacted. It looks like very positively by Mercury entering Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, this week. Right, these are the positive effects that he gets out of that. In addition to that, the King of Winter is somebody very authoritative and disciplined and impartial and well-spoken and professional usually. And he's coupled here with this queen. So both of these can be the masculine's energy, in which case this is a very successful person, a very generous person, compassionate. So it's like, it's an air sign energy heavily. If they're not an actual air sign, this person has like a lot of those qualities, but also down to earth and, you know, grounded with the earth that's coming in for them. Masculine surrounded by, okay. Also, these can be couplings that are happening this week too. Air and earth. Air and water. The Prince of Summer, romantic, flirtatious, introspective, and enchanting. A deeply emotional and probably romantic experience will sweep you off your feet. Things can move very quickly during such whirlwind encounters, so stay balanced and make decisions with both your heart and your intellect. Well, you can absolutely do that when the Prince of Summer is coupled with the Princess of Winter, because she's working with intellect and he is all about the heart. The Princess of Winter is logical, truthful, curious, and undiplomatic. And we just blurt stuff out, you know, with no intention of hurting people or hurting anybody's feelings, but this comes out sometimes all kinds of ways. This is an intellectual challenge that calls upon your ability to think of a matching solution. If helpful information is put to you bluntly, accept the message without being bothered by the messenger. The Princess of Winter is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And the Prince of Summer is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or someone of those traits. Masculine subconscious. Here's for what he's looking for, the forgiveness. And then here's that fire energy that came through. Could be representative of the message from afar, of Mars maybe. And or there can be an actual, like I said before, fire sign involved in pain. Maybe it was some sort of party of three, love triangle or something. Sadness is part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you'll be stronger than before. This Three of Winter coupled with the Queen of Spring, talented, brilliant, independent, and charming. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. This can also be representing the confidence, right? The Queen of Spring or Wands, all about confidence. The confidence to, you know, step up to the plate and acknowledge where there's been pain and hurt and seek forgiveness and, you know, give forgiveness and all that. In this placement in particular, it's here like on the masculine's mind as opposed to being an actual thing that's surrounding them. Crown of the feminine. The Seven of Spring and the Eight of Winter. Seven of Spring, Seven of Wands, about the need to make a decision, and then once you do, to stick to it, stand your ground, don't let anybody push you around. But coupled with the Eight of Winter, it looks like you're very afraid of being easily pushed around, being manipulated, like you're not going to be able to hold on. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take away your personal power. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. The Eight of Winter, it's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you really aren't. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you a greater sense of self-confidence if you first affirm your freedom. Feminine surrounded by the Two of Spring or Wands. And as it relates to a love reading, it would be partnership, divine union, twin flame. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors or to expand the number of people helping you. But you may be in this position where it seems like nothing has been happening, perhaps because you had a decision you needed to make, perhaps because there had been some sort of breakdown in communications or the relationship in general. But the groundwork that you've laid in advance can carry you through. So it's like even if it appears that nothing's happening, there's still, behind the scenes, there's energetic exchange always, right? Things are always moving. The planning, resources, and efforts that you've invested in your dream will be great rewards. In the meantime, have patience and meditate on your next steps. Feminine subconscious. Aww. It's another 7. We got 3 7s. Like there's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. It's the 7 of summer. And it is Major Arcana card 20. It's another 2 also. Partnerships. Renewal is actually judgment in the traditional tarot. So judgment's that card we talked about before. It's time to get clarity about your life purpose and to make changes so that you're on the path most divinely suited to you. Forgive what has been without judgment and fearlessly embrace what's to come. So Major Arcana card Judgment is about abundance that you have earned, and that can be inclusive of things like love and relationship and partnership. But more directly, what it means as with regard to relationships is what I said before, like coming to a crossroad and needing to decide where do we go from here. And it does look like there's a decision that has to be made possibly in that regard. Again, this placement is about the mind, and the 7 of summer is about the need to make a decision. Or head being in the clouds. You can be dreamy about this, fantasizing about this. This can be what you want. But up here is where something needs to actually happen, and where you're fighting this energy that was attempting to hold you back from making a decision. It's something that's attempting to close you off from your blessings, and it could be just your own mind, your own thoughts. Crowning. The Princess of Autumn and the 6 of Autumn. I pulled these 2 cards together for somebody the other day, like 2 days ago. And I've used the deck, many times since then. And I've shuffled them and cut them into 6 many times since then. It's so funny that they're back together again. The Princess of Autumn, cheerful, reliable, intelligent, and mischievous. A Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, like the Queen, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. A wonderful opportunity related to your work or education, such as a promotion, a scholarship, is coming your way. Seize this chance to learn something exciting or to start a more rewarding and uplifting career. And the 6 of Autumn. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, and to receive a grant or scholarship. In return for heaven's blessings, be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time or money to reputable charities. So again, this is a card for me of unconditional love and needing to figure, but the Princess of Autumn is about the need to figure out what it is you want, what kind of relationship, with whom you like. It's, if you are coupled, it's like time to revisit, because it's like you're not impressed, you're not happy, things just aren't going as you expected. If you're single, then it tells you might be working too much. You're not gonna meet anybody like that. You gotta be social, and get onto the scene. You may be putting, just too much of your energy into things that are not going to help you to meet anybody. So like closing yourself off. And so you do need to try to be more social and exchange energy with folks. At the root, speaking of being unimpressed, it is the Four of Summer. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that God is presenting to you. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. And you can bring things towards you, have things come your way with the energy of the Magician, Major Arcana card 1. There is magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. And at the heart of the matter, this is feelings of loss. And you know what? I was just thinking about divorce here with the Queen of Spring and the Three of Winter. And also the King of Swords that sits up here, because he's like a professional. He's often a lawyer, a judge, and divorce had just popped into my head. I wasn't going to say anything because I was, well, I'm saying it now. So that's possible too. There could be, the loss of a relationship, but this is more about fear than actuality. Often I find the Five of Autumn or Pentacles. It's about being worried about loss, worried about lack, rather than the actual thing. Coupled with the Six of Summer, this card is often about soulmate relationships and things. So it can also be about us worrying that this relationship, that like seems too good to be true, is going to be lacking something like all our other relationships do. It's like having a very, and especially sitting here atop the Four of Summer, which is about, again, being bored, unimpressed, melancholy, pessimistic, doubtful that anything good is going to come your way of, it can't be so great because it wouldn't be here for me. That's not my luck. My life doesn't go great like that. So we're feeling worried about a soulmate relationship, again, like a divine union. Sitting here again under the Princess of Autumn, which is the Page of Pentacles, there is a need to look into self and decide what it is you actually want. But more on a more positive note, sitting next to it with the Princess of Winter and the Prince of Summer, basically the Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups, these two cards together can be about being excited about love. I would say particularly a masculine being excited, right? The Princess of Winter is excited, we have like ants in our pants. And it's being excited about love and emotion. Could be two actual characters. Again, it could be one person's energy, but it could be something going on between a Princess of Winter and a Prince of Summer too. And coming back again to this King of Winter and this Queen of Autumn, another more positive thing about this is that this is a masculine that's acknowledging that this feminine made him better, improved him. Like he was pretty legit on his own, right? King of Winter. So again, he's got all this stuff going for him. But that this, even despite, with that, this woman makes him better. And she's so nurturing and compassionate. Like she gives him something that he didn't have on his own. She brings him down to earth, like I was saying before. Otherwise he would be sort of flighty. To go back over the feminine's cards quickly too. The Decision, patience about a relationship, fantasizing. Yeah, I think this is the feminine. This is fear here. because she wants to be able to make a decision and have things to go, as she's dreamed they would go, as she's fantasized they would go. This wonderful partnership that she's so patiently waited for and laid the groundwork for, but there is fear here, and that fear is a lot having to do with coming from within. So similar to the Princess of Autumn, like I said, representing for me the sign of Virgo, the Hermit is also a Virgo, and so I'm getting a similar feeling of the need for introspection, particularly on behalf of the feminine. Because like I said, the masculine is pretty happy here about love and stuff, particularly on the part of the feminine, to release whatever this is. And this can be a part of that emotional upheaval and everything that from the other spreads that turned up, especially since it's here. First of all, it's in the suit of spring or wands, just like this queen is. So again, there could have been something with a fire sign, or with the fire element energy behind it that caused whatever went on. But then again, there's fear now in moving forward because of past hurt that occurred. So we're worried about something like that happening again. We're worried about this lack that we're used to repeating itself in what we otherwise feel is a soulmate situation. So basically just the need to continue to work on self, like many of the other spreads that I've done over the past 2 weeks have also indicated. And in addition to that, from the angel therapy cards, with what we can work, opening to indigo first. The person that you're inquiring about is an indigo, and that means that they're a highly sensitive and natural born leader. So especially if you're inquiring about yourself, feminine, that's the first thing I heard. This is reminding you, yes, you've got it in you to take charge of your life. And base chakra, it's the root chakra, which is also represented by the color red. Choose only positive thoughts to describe your home, career, and finances, as your words determine your outcome. Base chakra. And clear yourself. Ask the angels to release any toxic energies that you may have absorbed. Base chakra. And back to indigo. On that note, I'll go ahead and cut and then give one card to each archetype. Manifestation power. Use your spiritual gifts and natural abilities to attract your desired outcome. Boom. Further advice to the masculine from the angel therapy cards. Have you asked your angels for help with this? Your angels want to help you with this situation. However, they require your permission before they can intervene in your free will choices. So you're excited about love. You want to try to reignite something maybe, or you want to step something up maybe, or just express yourself. That could be too. Express what it is you're feeling. And you're not quite sure how you're going to do that. There may be some worry here too because of past issues that are resurfacing. Talk to your guides about that. Ask for help. Talk to your God, if you have one, about that. Talk to yourself about that, if you're the God that you have. The feminine from the angel therapy cards, Archangel Michael shows up to help us. You're working very closely with this powerful angel who's protecting and guiding you through this situation. He's like an ace of swords that comes through. In the scriptures, he's actually called the sword. To the masculine, listening. This is another message from afar kind of energy, but also involves this surrender that we saw come up in the first spread, It's not the moon, but it's a naked female body that always says to me vulnerability, surrender, because even her eyes are closed. You have your eyes closed, no clothes on. You can't get much more vulnerable than that. And it's just peacefully listening. So you may need to do that too. In the general reading or the moon reading. Maybe the moon reading. Yes, the moon reading. I got this message about like music to someone's ears. Was what they needed to hear, what they wanted to hear. It can be connected to this too. This can also have to do with you listening to, something that will help you to meditate. Okay, something meditative, something soothing. It could be binaural tones. It could be your favorite genre of music. It could be some sort of motivational speaker that can get you, get you going and help you to figure out what your next steps are. Or it could just be listening quietly, being still, and listening for messages from afar, paying attention to signs and syncs that you may notice. And feminine, just confirmation that we're going in the right direction, right? Even if it doesn't feel like it sometimes. We start to get nervous. Golden Path says that we're on track, headed toward the Emerald Ray, just like Dorothy was headed, down the yellow brick road to the Emerald City. From the fortune teller cards to the masculine wish, your heart's desire is ready to come true. So you can let go of your fear too. Feminine, beware. Be careful about who you trust at this time. That devil card has the same kind of energy as this. Well, not the same. It's the devil card is worse. But as far as like be careful who you trust, that comes out of that other card too. And there was something here that was making me think that. Oh, this here this could be somebody again that wants to control you, that wants to like trump the decision that you make for yourself or about yourself. So be mindful of that. Watch out for that. And you maintain control of your life unless you willingly want to relinquish it. Then that's different. Masculine, the 5 of Spring. Occasionally you may experience clashes with others. If you decide the matter is worth your energy, then do what you can to minimize the conflict without sacrificing your goals. So this card can be about conflict. And again, maybe with a fire sign, involving a fire sign or something spurned by a fire sign. And when the 5 of Spring shows up as opposed to like the 5 of Winter, it tends to be about close friends and or family. So there could be something like that, including like divorce and stuff, which show up as the 5 of Spring or could show up as the 5 of Spring. But the 5 of Spring, on a positive note, is also about, being aggressive, a go-getter, or by any means necessary, I am going to achieve what it is I want. I am going to fix this matter, where they have been hurt. I'm going to resolve this issue between, he and I or she and I. Nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to hold me back. And let's look and see. So we have this Queen of Winter as the overall energy on this deck. So this is the next upright card. Let's look and see what if this is that positive 5 of Spring, or the one that about potential conflict for the majority of people. It can still go either way. So for the majority of people, it's like it's a positive 5 of Spring, and the results of going after what we want could result in celebration, or loved ones being reunited. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, wedding, graduation, or a birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. So that's in clarification of the 5 of Spring. There was another one upright, and it is this major arcana card 0, the dreamer or the fool. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. So masculine, that's your guidance. That's your reconfirmation to charge ahead, full steam ahead, any means necessary, whatever you got to do to pursue your passions. And feminine, we are ending on a note of the Prince of Autumn. Trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny. It's important to make a detailed plan before starting any new endeavor. Once you have that plan in place, then that's when you can take action, immediate action, and get as much accomplished as possible. The Prince of Spring is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And feminine, I think that this may have something to do, for at least for some of us, with us, again, taking charge of our own lives and, us being in control and calling the shots, making the decisions. We got to make a plan first. Maybe we've gotten too used to letting someone else do those things for us. We've gotten too used to handing over, the reins of our own life. You get in the driver's seat and drive me around or whatever. And it's enough of that. So make a plan first. Figure out how you're going to take back your life and then do it. Hope that you guys have enjoyed this week's love reading. I'll still be back with more stuff. I have all kinds of exciting client readings that I've been doing, and some of which I will likely post and share. If you need anything from me, any of my services, all my information is in the description box below. Thanks again for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing. Namaste.